second so I can get.
Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, no more waiting, ignorant Gary. It's episode 7 of the FightersRep podcast. We appreciate you guys joining us. Once again, it's me and my man, Ignorant Behavior, Gary Martin, man. Listen, crazy stuff going on in boxing recently, Gary. Of course, we got to talk about it. It's that low blow with Alexander Usyk. You know, that's all everybody's talking about. Nobody's even really talking about the fact that he beat up, what's his name, Daniel Dubois. Most people are talking about the low blow. And, you know, I wanted to get your thoughts on it because me and you've been going back and forth about the heavyweight division. What's next? Who should fight who? What should happen? This is our chance to talk about it. You know what I mean? So did you see the fight? What did you think of the low blow? What did you think of the fight?
I did see the fight, and I'll first start off with that was a boring fight. It sucked. I'm just gonna put it out there. I whatever. I watched it just to see what was gonna happen. It was pretty much boring to me. It wasn't an entertaining fight, but we'll get into that later. It's kind of a close call whether it was in my opinion, whether it was a low blow or wasn't. It was kind of close. Yeah, some people put out different pictures and you like, look legit. And they put like their different things. You're like, look like a legit. Then you look back and then somebody else shows you another slow-mo freeze frame and you're like, could have been low. And so it's like, it was a close shot to me. I mean, I do think Usyk milked the time. He didn't take the whole 5, but he milked it. He laid down. He got his, whether he needed to breathe or whatever it was, he milked it a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
And and I mean, I do felt like listening to some people, but just also watching the fight, I do feel like the ref was kind of kept telling them, pick up the shots low, and kept warning them. And what somebody brought attention, if you keep warning them, why not take a point? Because I don't feel like they felt like, and I kind of thought about it. I didn't really think about it like that, but they were like, the referee was kind of, messing with the fight a little bit to keep telling them and Usyk complaining about the low blows. So I didn't really think about it until I started hearing that person's perspective. I'm like, I guess that could change some things, if that was part of your strategy to try to go to the body, if you've seen something in the body and the ref keeps doing that. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, to put a whole fight on one punch, like, I feel like the best fighter won. Maybe not the right fighter won. Maybe not the right fighter won. Sometimes things happen. Like you get a Lennox Lewis and Rockman. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't beating Lennox Lewis. He hit Lennox Lewis with a shot and got him out of there. Then Lennox Lewis came back and destroyed him. Okay? Yeah. You're like, in heavyweight, like we always talk about, it doesn't take much to knock a guy out when you're that big, or hurt a guy really bad when you're that big. And I mean, like I said, did the right person win? Maybe not. But did the best fighter win? Yeah. Because I think 9 times out of 10, Usyk beats him because they went in and fought for the rest of the fight. And he dominated the rest of the fight. And the fact of the matter is, I felt like Daniel kind of laid down. Yeah. He laid down. I mean, the 2 shots that put him down, and I mean, I never know how hard those shots were. Like a lot of people think like the George Foreman hitting who was it? When George Foreman came back at 45, I can't.
Michael Moore.
Yeah. When he hit him and dropped him, everybody's like, the punch didn't look that hard. Yeah. So maybe it didn't look as hard, but it looked like to me he could get up both times. He waited the first time, the 9 count. It didn't look like he was hurt that bad. And then the second time, it didn't look like he was hurt that bad. And he stayed down to 9, and then the referee just called it. So I felt like he gave up on himself. I mean, if you're just talking about one punch, just like one punch, I mean, I mean, maybe you did hit him in a good spot, and maybe it should have been called. But I mean, I like, you still got to go on a fight and go ahead and win the fight. You lost pretty handily, besides that one punch. So that's how I feel about it.
I would agree with you. I thought he lost pretty handily. And Eduardo Dufal's in the chat. Shout out, Eduardo. Appreciate you being here. He says it was clearly to the pit of the stomach or whatever it's called. boca del estómago. The question is, hit to the pit of the stomach is foul or illegal. I think they said below the navel is illegal, at least with this sanctioning body. I don't know if it's different with other sanctioning bodies. I'm not sure, but I think if it's below the navel, then you could make that argument and say that it was illegal. My thing, and I made a video on this yesterday or the day before. I don't remember. Time is all kind of blending together at this point, Mr. Heineken. But but for me, I just feel like I agree with you. Usyk milked it. It looked like he was milking it like a soccer player out there. You know what I mean? And I felt like had the referee started counting, Usyk would have probably bounced back up. I don't think he would have did the whole LeBron soccer player thing that he did on the floor there. I think he would have got back up. He would have started fighting. And I agree, I would even argue maybe even more than 9 times out of 10, Usyk beats Daniel Dubois. I mean, he just seemed to be on a totally another level, but I guess, that's kind of all Daniel Dubois really has to hang his hat on after a performance like that, right? Is, well, I landed this shot to the body. He went down. I should be the champ. So you kind of, when you lose, you got to come away with something, and I feel like that's what he was coming away with. Besides the hit being illegal, if it's under the navel, at least that's what I'm hearing. And besides Usyk's reaction, I also, I heard this, Antonio Tarver mentioned this, and it really allowed me to process a little bit as well. Before the fight in the locker room, and even sometimes right there in the ring, the referee will tell you, this is low, this is not, So he's making that call, and he's making the call on the spot. He says that's low. So, I'm taking him for his word. I don't think Dubois would have won this fight, and I thought it was a low blow because the referee said it was a low blow, and it's kind of ugly the way it goes for Usyk, right? But it's kind of ugly for Usyk. You gotta admit, he's, instead of enjoying his victory, he's sitting here being defensive.
I mean, if I'm Usyk, I'm just like, okay, I destroyed the guy for all these rounds. Well, let me not say destroyed, but I got him out of it. I knocked him down twice. I pretty much easily won the fight. Besides, if you want to say if that was low or not, I mean, only he knows if it was low or not. So even if it was, he could probably hang. Even if I was a fighter in Usyk's spot and it was a good shot, it was a clean shot, and he got me there, I would still go like, I mean, it's a lucky shot. I got the guy out of there. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I was like, I mean, if he wants to fight again, the way I beat him so easily, I'll do it again. It's nothing big to me. But, I wouldn't even stress it just because of the performance. Now, if it was a close fight, I would go and I would sit back and say, you know what? Dang, I probably would be more defensive of it. If it was a close shot, like I probably would be more defensive, like, oh, what are you talking about? But if I know after that shot, I kind of wiped the guy, what I'm saying? I knocked him out and everything. It's like I said, he quit to me. I don't know. That's what I saw. Like, he didn't want to continue fighting. Like, I mean, the last punch was like a jab. I don't even think that was like a hook or anything. It looked just like a jab. I mean,
what's interesting? Like, it's interesting that you say that because he kind of has that reputation in the UK, I think, because he actually fought Joe Joyce. That was his only loss when he fought Joe Joyce. Yeah. And that was actually a fight that a lot of people thought he was going to win. I actually picked Joe Joyce. I remember I was on here with Coach Collinsworth. We both picked Joe Joyce because he's such like a big, strong guy and he knows how to box. And I think Joe Joyce busted his orbital or something like that. But a lot of the people over there, they're pretty hardcore, those UK fans, and they were saying he bottled it or whatever it is, he just gave up on himself. And it's interesting that you say that he did that here because it kind of did look like it happened again, right? And it kind of takes me back to that quote by Khabib Nurmagomedov, who says, once you quit once, quit once, you'll quit again. You know what I mean? So I think it's interesting that you're observing that,
I mean, it was just like, I was like, when he got knocked down, I was like, I thought he was going to get back up because it didn't seem like he was out of sorts or whatever. Yeah. It almost seemed like, what it brought me back to when Ruiz knocked down AJ that last time, like the fourth time, and AJ was sitting on the ropes, and they were like, "Do you want to still continue?" And he was just sitting on the ropes, like not really responding. And it was like, "You're okay. You're not out of it." But it's like you're contemplating, like, do I want to continue? Do I want to keep doing this?
He was getting beat up in there. You know, I think I would say AJ probably got beat up worse.
Yeah.
But I would also say like Usyk does tend to, the damage that he delivers tends to accumulate, right? Like it accumulates, and he's able to get guys out of there. Just he has a lot of volume. You know, he's not like a one-punch knockout guy. But you know, if Dubois were to tell me like, no, I was really hurt in there and I just couldn't take it anymore, you know, I guess I would take it for his word, just because like I felt like he got hit a lot in that fight, you know, and Usyk does have a lot of volume. But you know what you're saying, it does add up to what a lot of people think about him across the pond.
I mean, not interrupt you, but there's another thing. I can't remember who it said. I don't know if it was Greg Hackett. I don't know if you know Greg Hackett, a boxing trainer or whatever, but I don't know if it was Greg Hackett or it was Timothy Bradley or somebody that said it. They were like, it seemed like he got tired. And when you can get tired, sometimes anything can put you down. You know what I mean? Seemed like he was getting wore down or whatever. So I don't know if that was the case. Maybe that could. It just seemed like it seemed like his will was broken a little bit. And at that point, it was like he just wanted it to be over. I don't know, but they were saying it seemed like he was getting tired. So I was like, maybe that was it. But I mean,
now let me ask you, Gary, because you're a fan of technical boxing. I know you're a fan of technical boxing, like myself. You know, that's why we like Floyd and we like these guys. Why did you find the fight boring? Because you know, it seemed to me that Usyk is very impressive technically for a heavyweight, for a bigger guy, especially in the cruiserweight division. You know, he's able to do what he does because he's technical. You know, so why did you kind of find this fight in particular boring? You know, now I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not saying it was the most exciting fight. You know what I mean? But like,
if you go through, let's just go through like the first 5 rounds before the knockdown. I mean, into the knockdown, the first half of the fight, it was more like it wasn't like no shots going on. It was landing shots, and it wasn't not like no shots where you seeing somebody like, oh, he caught him good there, and it was just like, okay, I'm just gonna
jab. I landed the
jab and do this. You know, even though I like technical boxing, I like you see Bud Crawford, you see him catch somebody. Oh, that was a good shot. You know, you're seeing shots, you're seeing fireworks, and at least if you like, you didn't even see shots coming back at him. It was dodging them, blocking most of them. You know what I mean? So it just seemed like it wasn't like a exciting fight. Like no real until like once you got the knockdown, they're like, oh, okay, are we getting started here? It felt like it was just like, when you have those first couple of rounds that are slow and they're just like a fill out jabbing, I mean, that team. The other person, each person just jabbing, trying to figure out the person's rhythm and trying to figure out what the other person wants to do and how the other person's moving. It felt like that for way too long. Yeah. And it was like, are we going to get going on this? Are we going to get going on this? And then the second half of the fight, they started going a little. I mean, Usyk started going a little bit more, and it started going and everything. But it just, I don't know. It just didn't. It just didn't do it for me. I was literally watching the fight, like waiting for it to be over. Like, let's hurry up and finish this fight. And it was because, like, it's okay to have a one-sided fight when somebody's getting their ass whooped. Like, just getting like Errol Spence was a one-sided fight. Bud Arrow was one-sided fight. But he got knocked down like 3 times, about to get knocked down a 4th time. It was a bloodbath. Who don't like a bloodbath? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, okay, that was a bloodbath. But if you have like, let's say like Terrence Crawford, Benavidez, that's kind of more of a technical fight. Both of them playing a little mind games and they throwing. But it was kind of like, each one of them trying to get the other one to come in so they can counter and not really like, so that was more of a slower fight. And it wasn't as much. He did knock him down at the end, knock him out at the end. But for most of that fight, it was kind of like it wasn't and you see him fight Arrow, he's knocking him out and he's knocking him around or whatever. Or even him and Sean Porter. Sean Porter's at least being aggressive, coming at him, and it's more entertaining. I just felt like that fight wasn't that fight.
I hear you.
I wouldn't pay for that fight.
I think Usyk. I think part of it is also because like Usyk is, he's a bit of more of a pity pat. Like I said, he gets you out of there with volume. He's not really like. I feel like Crawford gets you out of there with one shot. He'll put that bad intention on that one shot. But I feel like Usyk is a bit more of a pity pat puncher. We also have Mr. Flash U17. Oh yeah, he says 5th round. It was a low blow according to the official rule. Peeps need to get over it and give Usyk his credit. Walk Dubois down, outbox him to a stoppage. Great display of skill. And I'm not. I wouldn't argue, Mr. Flash, that it wasn't a good display of skill. We all know Usyk is skilled. He's got that gold medal. He's got a good pedigree. He trains with Lomachenko and his dad or whatever. And for a big guy, he can move, but I didn't think. I agree with Gary here. I didn't think it was it wasn't entertaining. I was kind of also sitting there waiting for something exciting to happen. And it didn't. But he gets the win. Credit to him, right? Mm-hmm. And let's talk about what happens next, Gary. But before we do that, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Me and Gary doing this every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific. Also, join the channel if you want to watch Fighters Rep 19. It's going to be our best card ever live from the Commerce Casino. If you can't make it to Los Angeles to the Commerce Casino, you can just watch it right here live by joining the channel, just $9.99 a month. If you want to come out live, you can get your tickets at FightersRep.com. So, Gary, a little bit more clarity in the heavyweight division. I guess not that anybody really thought that Dubois was going to be Usyk, in my opinion. But at least Usyk gets another win under his belt. Meanwhile, it looks like Wilder's going to fight again. Then him and AJ are supposed to fight. But, Tyson Fury, I don't know what Tyson Fury's doing, man. He's fighting Ngannou, in a fight that Ngannou has. I mean, it's an exhibition, I guess. So even if he loses, I don't think it counts.
No, it doesn't count. No.
Yeah, but what are we doing here in the heavyweight division? What's the fight that should happen next, and what's gonna happen next, in your opinion?
I think Wilder and Joshua probably happen. I mean, I think the build-up's there. I think the money's there. I mean, it's been a long time coming. They were supposed to fight a long time ago. Both of them have losses on their record now. Yeah. And both of them are trying to get back to the top. Right now, you got Usyk and Tyson Fury. Basically, you have to stay at the top. So, I mean, I think I know Big Baby Anderson just fought a while ago, but he's not ready for none of he's not. I don't think anybody's looking at him right now. So,
and the guy they put in front of him, man, that guy.
That was a boring fight too. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh man, that was, and I'm a fan, but it was just
I like him a lot.
That was, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was.
You know what it was? Top Rank does a good job. At least that's what they're known for. Is kind of bringing guys along and turning them into stars or developing them. And I think after his last fight with Prince Charles Martin, where he got hit quite a bit, where he got hurt quite a bit, where it was a lot closer than, maybe people anticipated, although they shouldn't have, because Charles Martin can fight and has a lot of experience over Jared Anderson. I think it was just a fight to get his confidence back, if I'm being honest with you.
It had to be something, because I don't know. I've never seen that guy fight, to be Pacheco or whatever. And I was like, he just balled up. I mean, it wasn't like even. Did you come to fight, or did you come to just be a punching bag or something?
That guy was a punching bag, bro.
I was like, I mean, I'm as a fight fan, like if I want to see you keep stepping up to at least a good, decent fight. Like, I don't want to see that. But anyways, that's off topic. I mean,
But that's a good topic, right? Because That's a good topic. That's something we talk about a lot on the channel, right? Like, at Fighters Rep, I'm not trying to make fights like that ever, Gary. We're not.
Yeah.
We're never trying to put guys in there to just get beat up like that. I mean, that's like, I don't know. That's ruthless, man. Like, that shows that you don't give a shit about these guys. The guy was in there, and like you said, he was kind of a punching bag. And what really bothered me, I don't know why this bothers. I don't know why this bothers me, but as the guy's sitting there just getting beat up, right, and Big Baby just teeing off on him, right? The announcer for Top Rank is screaming like Big Baby is like overcoming like Tyson Fury or somebody there. And I'm just like, bro, like what are you screaming about, bro? Where did they even find this guy? You know what I mean? Like this guy is, I'm not saying I can't beat the guy, but you like you said, you don't expect a guy like Jared Anderson to be fighting competition at that level. So
yeah. And like I said, I think Wilder. I'll pay for it. Wilder and AJ, I'm down to see it. I've been waiting on it. I still got who I always had winning the fight, Wilder, but I'll love to see it. I mean, I'll love to see it, and I think that's the more exciting fight than Usyk Tyson Fury. I do think that's the more exciting fight.
Yeah.
Although, and I mean, I'm not knocking Tyson Fury. He's older in the game. He wants to retire. He's been talking about retirement for a while. So I think he's gonna get the money grab with. I mean, it's an easy money grab. Why not do it? I mean, at this stage in your career, you're in the back part of your career where you already been mentioning retiring. You want to do probably one or two more fights, get it out the way, and then just go on the sunset and retire with as much money as you can. So I get that with Tyson Fury. I mean, some of these other guys like AJ, they're still young. They want to fight. Deontay, he's not looking at retiring anytime soon. I know he said that after he got beat, but like my cousin said, he said all fighters, after they lose, they all be down and saying stuff, and they don't really be meaning that stuff after they lose. And so, I just feel like those guys are young and Usyk. They still feel like they have things that they can do, things they can, achieve in the sport. Like Tyson Fury is like, all right, I beat Klitschko, knocked out Deontay Wilder, beat him, had this big, huge fight. If I go beat Usyk, what am I doing here? I can go fight AJ. He don't have a belt though. You know what I'm saying? Unless he get her just for a payday, but what am I doing here? Let me just go collect these quick checks and I'm out, live my life. Kind of like Bud is talking about. He don't have too many fights in left. He's like, I'm never beating Floyd's 50-0. I'm not fighting that long. He's trying to get his money and get out, and that's it. So, I mean, I think that's what it is. I mean, I would love for Tyson Fury to stay around longer. I don't really think anybody's beating him. I don't think Usyk's beating him, but I think eventually it'll probably be Tyson Fury and Usyk. Tyson Fury will fight Usyk. Deontay Wilder will fight. End up fighting AJ. And after that, I don't know what you do if Tyson Fury beats Usyk again. I don't think he wants to fight. He wants to
Wilder
fight
Wilder for a fourth time.
I'll be honest, he don't want that fight again because he got dropped every time he fought him now.
Yeah. Well, not the second time.
You're right, the second time. But you don't want to keep getting hit by that.
No. I think once you win 3 against a guy like that, hey man, you had your shot. Leave me alone. At this point. Mr. Flash, you 17408 says Charles Martin stepped off the gas against Anderson. You can tell Bob said, yo, don't derail the hype for the guy. We try to build as the next thing. I love you, Mr. Flash, but I got to disagree with that because I thought he got hit way too much to be, playing any type of games like that in there. But I appreciate the comment. What do you think about that, Gary?
I mean, I disagree because early on even in the early rounds, Jared was getting him. It's just that Charles Martin, being a veteran, being a big guy, big, strong guy. I mean, like we say, heavyweight division, if somebody catches you, he can rock you and put you in trouble. Jared Anderson was handling himself pretty good at first, and then he got caught with something. Then he got caught later on. Charles Martin caught him. I think Charles Martin kind of ran out of steam later on in the fight. He kind of wore down a little bit. He gave it all he got at the times he did when he thought he could get him out of there. And like I said, he had him hurt at least like, if I remember correctly, like twice.
Yeah,
He had Jared Anderson really hurt.
Yeah,
he had him hurt, and Jared Anderson, to his credit, he stayed composed. I think it's a growing pain. It's just like Devin Haney when he got caught.
Yeah,
And he had to weather the storm for like 2 rounds.
Yeah.
And he got caught, and that taught him something. Okay, this your first time ever been buzzed in the ring. You're in real trouble. What are you gonna do? It teaches you composure. So I don't really think Charles Martin took up. Nah, I don't think he took the gas off.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't think you'd let someone come that close to finishing you multiple times, but I don't know if Mr. Flash is just being tongue in cheek here. He also says Fury not gonna fight Usyk, just wish he would retire and let go of the belt so we can get an undisputed already. It is. I don't know what's going on through Fury's mind with not taking the Usyk fight right away, but if I were to look at it strategically, Gary, I would look at it kind of through the Floyd Mayweather lens, which is, let him fight a few more times, let him get beat up a little bit more, let him erode a little bit more so that when I get to him, it'll just be an easier job for me. I don't know. Or maybe he's saying, let me go get the bag against Ngannou, right? Make a little bit more money, easy money, and then come back and fight Usyk after that. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I personally think that he's looking at it like, let me go get this bag, and maybe maybe one more bag. Then I personally think he'll fight Usyk and retire.
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna go fight anybody else. I think he's gonna, especially if he wins, if he beats Usyk. If he goes and fight and he beats Usyk, I think he'll sit back and say, "Yo, I done beat everybody. I beat all the top guys, except for AJ."
Oh, you brought it up. You brought it up because that's the biggest money fight out of all of them. Like, that is the bag. That's the big bag, right? That's the Dayland. Remember the Bloomingdale's bag? What does it say? The big bag on it. That's that bag. You know what I mean? Like, he can fight whoever he wants. He's not going to get more money than a fight with AJ, especially out in the UK, man. They would fill 2 soccer stadiums between him and AJ, bro. That's
a good point. But if think about it, you're fighting Francis Ngannou. You're bringing the MMA. It ain't gonna be bigger than AJ. No, not at all. But you're fighting an MMA fighter. It's an easy fight. It's an easy fight. It's an easy fight in your mind. He's an MMA guy. I can go make what easy money. I don't know. I forgot what Floyd made fighting Conor. You know what I'm saying? Even though obviously Francis is not Conor, he don't have the hype.
A lot. I'm sure they made a lot.
But still, that was how easy of a payday that was for Floyd to fight somebody and make a bunch of money. I mean, Conor made 100 million, so you can only imagine what Floyd made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Upheaval 963 says, salute Fighters Rep, salute Upheaval. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast with me and Ignorant Behavior going crazy down here in Miami, talking about nothing but the fights and bringing you guys amazing live fights. The next one is September 9th from Los Angeles, Fighters Rep 19. I do think, Gary, think that once you fight Usyk and you become unified, there's nothing left to do, right? There's nothing left to do. So the order of things is a little bit weird. I would say after Ngannou and he gets that bag, he should fight Usyk. And maybe it's meant to be for him, because by the time that fight gets done, Wilder and AJ would have figured it out already.
Yeah.
AJ would have taken more damage. I'm sure he's going to take some damage in that Wilder fight. He's either going to get knocked out or hurt really bad. I'm sure if he wins, even if he wins that fight, which me and you don't think is the likely outcome. It's possible. But I think we both see Wilder finishing him in that fight. But yeah, I mean, if Wilder's able to finish him, Fury's able to beat Usyk, and then the only fight left to make is an all British fight between him and AJ, man, you're riding out into the
Yeah.
sunset on that. There's nothing wrong with that at all, man. At all,
I
at
mean,
all.
he might do it. He might do it, but I just the way he's been talking ever since ever since the last Wilder fight, his mind is keeps talking about retirement. And
Yeah.
when somebody keeps talking about retirement, they say once you keep talking about it, you're halfway out the door. You ain't really just to fight for money and stuff. Like, oh dang, this is another bag. Let me hurry up and get this one. And it's always gonna be another fighter that's gonna say, "Hey, fight me."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's some people who can't give it up and will fight till they get their brains beat out. And then there's some people like, you know what, this is enough. I don't need to keep fighting.
Like Evander Holyfield.
Yeah. Well, that was partly because of money too. Evander spending his money. Evander needed some more money. But but I mean, it's some people like I mentioned Bud before. Bud is literally just saying like, "Yo, I don't have no want to beat 50-0. I'm gonna get a couple bags right now in the mouth."
Yeah. No, I hear it. Upheaval says, how do you guys think AJ looks? To me, he looks way too tentative, like he's worried about getting dropped. Well, Upheaval, I have made a video on this, and I don't know what Gary's opinion is on this, but for me, I agree 100%. I think I've told you too, Gary. I think ever since that first Andy Ruiz fight, for me, ever since that first Andy Ruiz fight, he completely changed his style of fighting for that second one, and he's never been able to really find himself. And I think that's that will most likely be very bad for him against a guy like Deontay Wilder, because if you're in there and you're not sure of yourself, you're not sure if you're a defensive fighter, you're not sure if you're offensive, you're hesitating. That's probably going to spell disaster for a guy like Deontay Wilder, who knows exactly what he wants to do. He wants to land this right hand right on your face and finish you off. So, I agree with you, people. I think he looks way too tentative. What about you, Gary? What do you think about, AJ recently?
I mean, me and you talked, I believe, on one of the episodes. I believe we talked about it, but I just feel like, he knows what his weakness is. He's not really a fleet of foot type of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's more flat footed, and people who are real true like boxers, they can outbox him. Like Usyk outboxed him. It was just clear he was better boxer. So I think, in his head, he's thinking like, oh, I have to be more of a boxer. I have to get more boxing and, try to, change himself. And that's not his natural self, but he's trying to change it. And it's kind of already so far along in his career. It's going to be hard to change himself. I know Tyson Fury did it, but to me, Tyson Fury is more of a person who can do a lot of different things.
Tyson Fury's always been a boxer, though, man. He's always been a boxer.
No, I ain't talking about just a boxer. I'm talking about changing where he goes forward and tries to knock somebody out and be more aggressive towards knocking out. I think certain fighters can do multiple things. They can be, you see Shakur now is being more aggressive. Shakur normally just boxes, but now Shakur is like kind of, I'll stand here in front of you. Let's go. Let's do some inside fighting. Let's do this and do that. Certain boxers can do that. Other boxers, their style is just their style. And I think Bud said against Errol, that's his style, man. Yeah. And Errol always said, I can box, but we only seen it one time. And that was against a smaller fighter, and what is Mikey Garcia, that was the only time you kind of seen him box a little bit more. Otherwise, it's just breaking his opponent down. And Terence Crawford said he boxes everybody the same way. So I knew how to fight him. And for a long time, that was Joshua. And I don't know if Joshua, he's trying to. I can commend him on that. Get a new trainer, try to do some things different. And you could try, but I mean, I just don't feel like it's natural to him. And I feel like he doesn't have the ability to think more.
He doesn't have the ability of a Fury to do that kind of thing. The way Spence doesn't have the ability of a Bud Crawford to do that kind of thing. Crawford and Crawford and Fury are more like they're able to change their styles up, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. And Upheaval says exactly at this point, Wilder smokes him, and and you look, is it possible for AJ to win? Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's got a chance because I do think if it's purely boxing, if it's just you touch me, I touch you, he wins. But the problem is Deontay Wilder's trying to touch you into another dimension, and it's just a tough fight. Mr. Flash says, I know you ain't favoring one punch, no footwork, bum slayer Wilder. Y'all heavily underestimating AJ. Hope the fight happens though. Just letting you guys know it'll be just like Bud versus Spence. It's like I said, Mr. Flash, it's very possible, it's very possible. But I don't know. I just feel like if Andy Ruiz could land the punches he landed, this guy he just fought, Robert Helenius, bloodied him up. I mean, he bloodied him up in that fight,
Yeah.
If these guys that are just,
And didn't Wilder get him out like in the first round?
One round, yeah.
So you could say the bomb slayer, but he's fighting the same people AJ's fighting.
Right. And the only person to beat him is Fury, who's the best. I mean, he's the best heavyweight. If Fury wasn't around, Wilder would still be the man. So, I have a hard time calling him a bum slayer. I wouldn't do that to Wilder. Although I hated his excuses. I thought he was full of shit. I lost a lot of respect for him because of that bullshit. Because, we come from a bit of a different generation, Gary. I think that a lot of these guys are a different area. But where if you got your ass whooped, you just got your ass whooped and that's it.
Like Spence isn't saying anything.
Right. Spence is, I respect Spence for that, but
he might have a good excuse, but he's not saying anything.
Right. But Wilder, he just came up with all those excuses, was a big turnoff for me. That's the reason I don't like him. I loved him before that. I don't like him too much anymore because of that. But I still wouldn't call him a bum slayer because even I know if Fury's not around, hey, Wilder's number one. If Fury's not around, or maybe Usyk. I don't know, but I would still put Wilder up there,
I mean, does he have bad footwork? Yeah, he has bad footwork. Is he like a great boxer? No, he's not a great boxer. He's gotten like the last time he fought Fury, he did look better. He did look like he was learning more. He started late, so he's not the most polished boxer. But all that does not matter. Don't get me wrong, I like a technical boxer, a boxer who can really show you the sweet science.
Yeah.
But with him, I'm sorry to say, you've seen Luis Ortiz beat him most rounds and then get knocked out. You've seen Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is a great boxer. You've seen him drop Tyson Fury twice in the first fight, come back the second fight, drop Tyson Fury. What he did twice again that fight?
In the third one. Yeah, the third one.
Yeah, in the third, he dropped him twice again. So if he can catch what I deem is the best boxer in heavyweight,
I agree.
4 different times, you think he can't catch Joshua, whose defense is nowhere near on the level of Tyson Fury's? He doesn't have the defense that Tyson Fury has. He doesn't have the
tentative, and he's tentative, and he's not sure, and he's doing this, and I'm just like, oh.
If we look at how Tyson Fury describes him as a robot.
Bodybuilder, a stiff bodybuilder.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. Now, he still has power. Now he got knockout power. So I'm not saying he can't knock out Wilder. I'm not saying he can't win at all. He can win, but I mean, I just think that he's gonna get caught eventually. Everybody does.
Yeah. And Mr. Flash he's referring to Robert Helenius here. He says that was Wilder's sparring partner. AJ had 5 days to prepare for him. Come on, man. And he was on the juice. Those are good. Those are good points. But still, I just, using the eye test, you know what I mean? Using the eye test, it took him way too long. My problem with AJ versus Helenius was it took him way too long to get Hellenius out of there. I felt like he could have stepped in and thrown that right hand sometime in the first 7. What did it take him? 7 rounds, 8 rounds?
7 rounds.
He could have stepped in there and thrown that right hand, within the first 3-4 rounds. So he's cautious, he's waiting, he's scared. Maybe that'll help him against Wilder. Maybe he won't make any critical mistakes against Wilder, but at the same time, he's not fast enough, athletic enough, agile enough, in my opinion, to stop that right hand. I mean, it's going to – even Fury, who's got amazing defense and he's athletic and can move, couldn't get away from that right hand. He couldn't get away
not
from it.
Not 12 rounds.
Right.
And the thing is, and the thing is I don't think sitting back, waiting, being cautious helps you with Wilder. I think that allows Wilder to get comfortable and wait for his shot. You see Tyson Fury, I think Tyson Fury realized that after in the first fight when he got knocked down and he got up and he started attacking him.
Yeah.
He started attacking him and he was like, "Yo, you don't like being attacked. You're not used to people coming at you. You're used to people running away from you. So, let me start attacking you." And then the second fight, he attacked him. He said, "Okay, I'll attack you and see how you like that. Can you fight off your back foot? Because you don't have all the years boxing that I do."
I agree. And who knows? Maybe he becomes aggressive against Wilder. But the problem with Wilder is if you're aggressive against him, he can also knock your head right off. Upheaval says, "What are your thoughts on Vaquero, Navarrete?" And then he agreed with us after that. Absolutely, AJ is very robotic. So Vaquero, Navarrete, that's the one, Gary, the guy that fought Oscar Valdez. I think he's a real good fighter. I think he's a very, offensive fighter. I think he's got great offense. I think he gets hit a lot, but I think he's a fantastic, entertaining fighter. I love his pace. His pace reminds me of like Salvador Sanchez, where no matter what's happening, he's just cool, he's calm, he's collected, and he's keeping that same pace and he's keeping that same poker face, and you don't know if you're hurting him or what, and he just keeps coming. But I think he gets hit too much for my liking. As much as I appreciate the Mexican warrior style or whatever it is, I don't like guys that get hit that much. Yeah.
I mean, I think he has a lot of power. I mean, I think that you come to see his fight, you'll see an entertaining fight. You're gonna see an entertaining fight, but I'm with George on the fact that he's the type of fighter, like, I'll take 1 or 2 to come and give it to you and kind of like, and let's see who has the better chin. Let's see who can take whose firepower. And that works when it works in your end. The guy, you can handle that guy's power, but he can't handle yours. But when you get somebody who's not going to sit there and play that game with you, move around and still hit you with good shots, and I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to test. It's always funny to me to say when people go, oh, he's never been hit before, you don't know if he has a chin. Great. I want to keep it that way. I never want you to know if I have a chin. I want to see if you have a chin, Don. I want you to know if I have a chin. Never hit my chin. I don't want to get hit. I want to hit you. That's all I want to do. I don't get the thought of, I want to be hit and tested. No, I don't want you to test my chin. I want to test yours. That's it.
I agree. Mr. Flash says, really want these fights to happen. As I said, I got AJ over Wilder easily. Also got Usyk over Fury points. Yeah, man, I got to disagree. I appreciate that, though. Thank you for sharing that. That's what this channel's about. We get together. We talk about the fights. We make our own fights.
I want Mr. Flash back here.
Yeah, we want to see you again when these fights happen. For you either
I'll bow down to him if I'm wrong.
Yeah, me too. You'll either rub this in our face or we're gonna rub it in yours, buddy. But yeah, we totally disagree on that one. But hey, these fights are close fights. I mean, anything can happen in these fights. So it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, I think that's all we got for today, man. That was a fun episode. No technical issues for the first time.
We're getting good at this now. Or at least I am.
We did, and I appreciate you guys joining us, man. Listen, we want to keep growing this podcast. tell your friends about it. We're going to be in here. We're going to talk about this every Monday. We're going to do other content as well. We're actually releasing a great preview to Jason Granado versus Isaac De La Paz tomorrow at Pacific noon time. So definitely tune in there, or Pacific noon time. What's that here? 3 o'clock here on the Eastern side. So tune in and check out that lead up. Again, Fighters Rep number 19, September 9th. Join us, get some merch below, subscribe to the channel. We look forward to seeing you guys every Monday, me and Gary, and dropping a lot of content for you. Gary, anything you want to say to the Knucklehead Nation before we sign
I'm good.
off?
All right.
Appreciate you, Gary. Have a good one, you guys. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah.